Hey, Madam President, at this time, everyone from the waiting room has been brought into the virtual call.
Right. It's 6 o'clock. If you can call the meeting in the city of Tonawanda Council to order, can you please call the roll?
Newman.
Here.
Kimmerdiner.
Here.
Rautenstrau.
Here.
Mylum.
Here.
Cook.
Here. All right, before we go over the agenda, just to update on a couple things. We received an email from our city treasurer last week about the template for the general fund balance. And I see our treasurer is here. Did everybody have a chance to review that? Tom?
Yes.
Okay. Did anybody have any feedback? Are we good to move forward with that?
I'm okay with it.
All right, so is everybody good if we have a resolution for our next meeting?
Yes.
Perfect. So it'll be 12/7. All right. We have a couple resolutions on our agenda this evening. If we could just take a look at resolution number 11. Have we received the funding impact as of yet? Mr. Clerk?
No.
No, I believe Jason is there, and at this time, we have not received that information.
All right. Is everybody in agreement with tabling that resolution?
Yep.
So I'll make a motion to table resolution 11. Do I have a second?
I'll second it. Madam President.
Second by Ms. Cameron. All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We'll go back to that one, but. And then just let us know once you get that.
Okay, motion to table by Council President Cook,
So
second
slow down
by,
a second. Slow down, because Jason wants to talk about it for a
okay.
second. Yeah, come on up.
So that one is, it's a change order to the lighting of the building. Just want to make sure you guys understood that wasn't it's not like a mandatory type change order. It's an appearance type change order. The lighting, we have a photometric plan, the existing lighting. And the lighting that's going to provide under that pavilion is about 5 to 10 foot candles on average, which is like hallway or bedroom level light. It's dim, but I think that's kind of what you're looking for not for a pavilion, don't want to be part of the office space. But again, I just want to make sure you guys understood it was sort of like an aesthetic type change. So if you look at it as something you're not even interested in, let me know. Not even go with it next time.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. So again, I'll make the motion to table resolution 11. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Madam President.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye.
Okay, and I also wanted to talk about resolution 12. There seemed to be some dialogue about the parking spots and the location. So our deputy city attorney is finalizing the verbiage for our ordinance. So I'd like to make that motion to table that resolution as well.
I just ask a couple questions before we do that.
Oh, yeah,
One, I just want to make sure, this is just a matter of the wording and the verbiage on it.
correct.
This is something we're still going to proceed with. Joe, you're fine with how it affects the lot. I think that was part of the concern.
Yes.
Okay,
So the recommendations that Joe provided to our deputy city attorney will be in the ordinance. right?
Gotcha. And it would
Those
be-
5 spots,
it was 5 spots.
5 spots.
And until this is passed, that's not open for parking yet.
Correct. Correct.
And there will be signage.
There will be signage once it's adopted.
Those are my questions. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay, so I'll make a motion to table resolution 12. Do I have a second?
I can second.
Second by Mr. Mylum. It was a tie.
That's fine. I don't care.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And then we'll just go over. All right, so those were the two things that I wanted to cover before that. Let's go through the agenda. Minutes. Camera down. Any questions on the bills?
Well, we received the abstracts on the, I believe it was the 9th. There was like 22 pages. There wasn't more than that, was there? Added later? Because I didn't see anything else beyond.
No, to meet the new timetable, I just moved it back, so that's to be to do.
Okay,
This was a
Thank you.
little shorter than give it a month. From then on, 2 weeks before your meeting, it's closed in 3 days.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions on that?
I was okay with it.
Who wants it?
I'll take it.
Mr. Mylan. Okay. The next resolution is the appointment of our new fire chief, Chief McNulty. Just want to remind everybody that the swearing in will be on Monday, the 22nd at 5 p.m. Any questions on that? Just, is the council in agreement that it's sponsored by the council? By the council?
Sure.
All right, the budget. Any questions on this?
I got a couple things I want to bring up before we finally approve it.
Yes,
One, I think we talked about the scanner for DPW. Is going to be either offset by the Biden money or the federal money.
so Bill, do you just want to come up, just so we can get the comments on the record?
Additional.
What's it? So,
On the DPW, on the scanner, which was somewhere in the range between 10 and 15.
Right.
We had room to either use the federal part of the funds or next year, depending with urban initiative. So that mission, we have the equipment line, which so there's room in there to make that happen, change the budget.
So one way or the other, it's gender neutral or,
Right, we have that, it's a small.
okay, budget neutral.
If it's larger, we can always find it in March, if it's close.
Okay.
And then decide if it's gonna be capital equipment or putting the money through the savings, the federals. It's general.
Okay. And then a couple other things, kind of brought it up. One, I sent an email out there. I know we've talked about doing a reassessment or reval in the city. I think we brought in our city assessor enough times that, we're either for it or against it. Yeah, I don't know that we've really had a huge discussion about it, but it would be a $50,000 increase. And again, would that fall into something like that if we were to choose?
That would still fall within
Yeah.
what would be used in the ARPA funds.
And, I still, I think it's important. And, I keep looking at the sale of properties, especially commercial properties. I had pulled up, I'd noticed that Aaron's had sold just the other day for almost double the assessed value on it. We've heard our assessor speak to this enough where, there's enough misinformation that we hear out there from other people that a reevaluation means that there's a tax increase where, we, as the people that understand this, need to kind of get across the point that it's not. The levy stays the same. This isn't for more money. There's the unfortunate part that several years ago, there was a 12.9% increase in our taxes. At the same time, the reassessment hit and people associate to that. If we're responsible about it, I think it's fiscally irresponsible if we don't keep this in motion. As it stands right now, if we approve it for next year, it's 3 or 4 years out, 4 years before it hits the
They
3
do
years.
Work in 22, they do the Board of Assessment reviews in 23. That would be in the final roll in 23, you'd see the new taxes in 24.
Taxes in 24. So, my argument is it's already a few years out right now. And if we push it off another year, it's going to continue to go out. I haven't had a chance to read the email in full in regards to the constitutional tax cap, but how does this come into play with that as well?
believe it or not, because if you, the latest email shows that we're right around 76%. Right? They sent that out, we have our draft in, so you approve the budget tonight, and we do the final, but we're gonna be at 76. They
When
actually
did you
use the
send that?
heat rate, so.
Just before we got here.
Okay.
So, they use the equalization rate, so they're showing their assessed roll at 890,000 as opposed to the 746 we're actually at for our taxes. So that kind of shows you the disparity between what the feeling is, what our true tax roll is. But when the state does their constitutional tax limit, they use the equalization rate. If it's actually higher than what our equalization rate is, then our percentage against the constitutional tax cap drop just because of the math of it. So,
Yeah.
but they're giving us credit for the heat rate. So that's why you saw us go from 80, 85, 76 with the heat rate. It's actually part of that. Part of it's because of the wonderful budget you guys did and all your hard work. The second part is our values are going up and the state reflects that. So
Yeah, so I mean, but we are looking at currently it's about a 86% equalization rate. That's on the books right now.
yeah, there's the heat rate, I think they're using, we're at 890, with 892, and then it's gonna be 86. It's gonna be- So that's how the state handles it. So the heat rate is important for that.
It is, and it's a 5-year average too. So, we really should be doing, evaluation within 5 years. So it averages out properly. As it stands right now, putting it until 24, it puts us right on the edge of
We're
that.
not giving us full credit for our last reval yet, because it takes 5 years for that to even to come.
Exactly. So we should kind of maintain that average to be somewhat fiscally responsible. But I mean, and just continue to make the argument on that. When we're looking at it right now, it equalizes the amount that people owe. So I mean, this could be another 3 years out where people could potentially be paying more than they actually owe because their houses aren't properly valued. And there's people that are kind of getting away with paying a little less. So there's just an unfair balance to that.
So what I heard you say, Bill, is we can use the federal money for the reassessment.
Yes,
If
there's
this is-
room in there for what we're allowed to use as a general fund.
So we don't have to increase the budget by, okay.
If we decide to go ahead with that into next month or January, we can use it.
And do we need a resolution to?
You would need to pass.
Yes,
the
we have to
contract
have-
and
correct.
authorization.
And I mean, my argument still is the onus is on us. We've, as a council, have sat here for the past 2 years, have heard our assessor talk about this. There's a lot of good reasons for our city to do this. And we can still talk to people. I think we mentioned that the assessor could come and still continue to talk so people can understand this, but I feel strongly that it's something that needs to be put into place. And I'm kind of asking this council sitting here that it fully understands it to kind of get behind it. And
I don't know what the rush is to do it now, or we wait until we have the new council and the new mayor elect. Because at any point we can amend in 2022, we can decide in 2022 to use that funding for the reassessment. So
which
I don't
still
understand what,
continues to put it off another year once we finally hash it out and talk about it. for
I
The
another year.
decision would probably have to be made in January. but
right.
it would-
But you're also talking about,
So I think we have to get into a position where we have to educate the mayor elect and educate the council member coming in.
I
on the
agree, but
reassessment.
I think it's something that's going to continually get kicked down the road because nobody wants to really step up and get this done. We have a council here that has studied this, that has gone over this over and over and over again. And we need to do the responsible thing and put it forward. We can't depend on the next council who's hasn't been here for all of this, who hasn't sat through all the meetings, who hasn't been educated, many of whom ran on a platform of this is going to increase our taxes.
I don't disagree with you, but I don't understand what the rush would be to wait to educate the mayor elect to come in and the council member. to
I don't
come in.
understand how we can't educate them through the process. I think it's kind of on us and we have an onus to the city and to our residents to do the right thing.
Oh, I do,
and
but
put
you
this
said
in
we're
place.
kicking the can down the road. We're not kicking the can down the road.
You're kicking the can down the road to another council who some people are going to be educated on it. Just
We have 2 meetings in December,
right.
so. I mean, yeah, and like I shared with you, our assessor was on vacation. There were some questions that we had asked. When you say we educated the community, we had the assessor here twice. I mean, this is a pretty important topic.
It is a very important
So-
topic.
And we've heard feedback from residents that I'd love for our assessor to respond to regarding exemptions and
Exactly.
so
I mean, and then you bring that up as
disagree
well. I
that.
mean, we're
I don't-
also looking at, if we put it off even further, currently, again, the equalization rate is at 86%. We continue another year, that equalization rate could go down. As it stands right now, veterans, people getting star exemptions are paying on a value of 14% more of their property right now. So they're not getting their full exemptions. I think there's other things we need to do to look at the
No, those are
exemptions.
very valid
and the
points. I don't
caps.
disagree with.
And I
with
think
what
it should
you're
all be
saying.
in one, but I think I just feel strongly that we've sat through this, we've talked to it enough that, you know, we should make a point of doing it. And I think the onus is on this council who's been here for 2 years to take up the responsibility of doing that.
Again, I don't disagree with what you are saying. I mean, we can put forward a resolution for the next meeting. And we can work with Dave to work with the mayor-elect and the council member coming in. So there is education on this because, you know, rest assured, this will last for the entire term that we have.
I agree. I'm all for it. If we can get a resolution together for the next meeting.
Yeah, 'cause
Or
I
two
mean,
meetings.
our assessor has told us numerous times that, and we all know, the commercial properties were undervalued and we
Agreed.
could not segregate them to be done. So we have to do our due diligence moving forward.
Yeah, I totally agree.
I
And
mean,
that was the biggest contention when we received the reeval, was the commercial properties didn't, you know, fare well.
That's what I'm asking. So if everybody's in agreement.
The gentleman in front.
Anything else in the budget?
I guess I have more budget topics to address. I think, you know, there's a new incoming new staff and coming into the mayor's office. You know, I've seen other cities that have gone overboard and pretty much cut positions on an incoming team, and it's came across as retaliatory. I think as a council now, we should kind of look at this, that there's new people coming in with a different skill set from people that have been here for 4 years and, you know, have received increases in pay over the time that they've served, presumably based on merit and time served and understanding the job. I think we owe a service to our community again to kind of take a look at that and say, all right, you have an executive secretary that's budgeted in for next year, you had notes of 42,800. The admin assistant at 67,900, and the mayor is an elected position at 42,500. And I think we have to take into consideration, even if you compare it to the CSEA pay scales, pay lines for an incoming typist, that's a start off of at 37,000. You know, to consider a 10% cut in that, and I'm not even saying cutting it out totally out of the budget. I'm suggesting that perhaps we put it into a council contingency to kind of see what the pool looks like and who is hired for it. I think we're in a position where if a very qualified candidate comes along and is deserving of the full pay, that we can negotiate that process out in the next term. And if there's room for that, to do it in the budget. But I think we need to kind of consider, you know, we've discussed it many times, that the outgoing person or outgoing position, maybe it's not the fairest option to pay them at the outgoing price for the new incoming person. You know,
did this in the resolution appointing the fire.
actually, that's about 3% less than Stuart, the current fire chief is at,
How much
yeah.
is he at?
Struck me about seven.
Okay,
about 7,000. And again, I just think it makes financial sense. It's not to say that that can't be increased, that can't be increased based on merit and discussed down the road. I think you leave
So
it
what are you
in the
proposing?
budget. You know, I think if you're talking for 4 years and you're looking at 3% increases in pay, I don't know what's the math on that. I mean, even if you're conservative at a 10% adjusted for cost of living, across the board on those two positions. I mean, we even looked at a few years back, this was discussed with the new admin assistant coming in. This council, I wasn't on it at the time, but discussed reducing the salary of him. And I think as they came onto the council, there was also the discussion where the incoming treasurer, you guys renegotiated pay and dropped that pay by about $10,000. So it was, you know, not based on the previous treasurer who had been here for 30, 40 years. You you know, they don't have somebody coming in at what he's making on an outgoing price.
So again, what are you proposing?
My proposal is that we consider a 10% decrease in the admin assistant line, in the executive secretary line, and to put that in a council contingency to either A, if things change and there's a very qualified and a great candidate coming, then yeah, let's pay him at the max. I mean, with any of us, if we're starting a job, we're talking, you know, there's a range for your position. I think you said it, if my job is budgeted for next year as my IT administrator for the company, if I were to walk tomorrow, they wouldn't be bringing in a person at the same salary package as me, because there's also built into that a certain amount of knowledge and understanding of the company as a whole.
So Bill, if you could just do the math, so that would be 38,520.
About 10,000, right? So
20. Wait, can I finish? So it would be 38,520 for the executive secretary. If my math is correct.
I was looking up when I had asked Bill, it's 42.8 on the executive secretary
Is that even, are we certain?
Yeah,
and 67.9 on the administrative assistant.
Okay.
I mean,
So-
also take into
so-
consideration that those are that group one of elected officials, so there's also benefits included. No or unlimited sick days and time off. So I mean, you got to take some of those intangibles into consideration as well.
So then that would put that to 61, 110. Can you just double check that math?
yeah, I will.
Okay.
That sounds about 10%.
I believe when Mr. Gilbert was hired, he came in at 55,000. And then he was advanced $5,000, but I believe that all of the mayor's department, I think the mayor's in control of his own department, salary wise. I don't
Yes.
think we have control over that.
I believe you are correct, Mr. Newman, because there wasn't, we actually had Mr. Rua look into that loophole. And I have the assistant deputy attorney nodding in agreement that the mayor at the time overrode our recommendation for pay increase or decrease.
So we as a
Correct.
council who's in charge of the budget can't set the budget line for that?
You control the salary line, you don't control how the splits.
Right, that's what I'm saying. We decreased the salary line of the administrative assistant and the executive secretary by 10% across the board. And however he distributes that, I think is fair to allow him to do that. And again, if there's an argument to be made and a qualified candidate, I think that can be readdressed on the hire.
What was the percentage of the decrease from the fire chief, from the outgoing fire chief to that?
He said about 7 is what I wrote.
So 7%?
7 divided by 1.5 is gonna be about 6.5.
So 6.5%? So then we should remain consistent. If we're gonna trim that 6.5%, we should do 6.5% for the mayor's line,
It's fair.
You're just moving it to contingency.
the council contingent.
Okay, so.
I mean, it's still budget neutral, but it's there if needed. But I'm also thinking it's there if we need extra summer help too. And want to put that in mid-year.
Agreed.
You are positive that these are the salaries for the executive?
Those are the current salaries for those two. Budget for those two ones, it's not their current. That was including, that's what's in the budget for next year with the raises for next year.
Those are the numbers. that I
It's
got.
not their current salaries.
So I'm hearing 10, she's offering 6.5. We got something in between here.
No, you know what, though, it's kind of upsetting to see some of the reaction going on over there with Tom. Because when this was happening with Chuck, you were all for cutting the position and getting rid of him. Yes,
Are you talking to me?
yes,
I never said about cutting and getting rid of them. When did I ever say that?
you were, this
mayor's office needs a
community
mayor's
was
assistant.
ready to hang him
Oh,
because
okay.
of the person. And
No,
telling you, this has nothing to do with the person coming in, the administration coming in. This has to do with, we have got to get out of the business of bringing in brand new people with zero experience and dumping cash in their lap.
We don't even know who the mayor is going to appoint. I don't know if they have experience or not.
Well,
All the more
that's why
reason.
it goes into a contingency then.
If you recall, the mayor made this a very lucrative position because you wanted to make the position competitive to the market, if you recall. And that was his quote.
It's still competitive at $61,000.
Here it is.
It'll be 6.5% will reduce it to 63,486.50.
I don't believe any position should come in fresh at the leaving salary.
That's exactly.
I'm
what
not in
talking
disagreement
about.
with that.
That's exactly, 100% of this argument.
And the first 3% is taking out the raises for next year.
Right.
So that's
But we
the first
didn't-
3% you're cutting is the raises built into the budget for next year.
But we didn't even figure that into the starting salary of 67,900.
67.9 has a 3% built in, the current, right, 67.
Understood. So what is the salary today?
I have to go back and. so-
Okay, so if we're talking, so we would need to know that.
Right.
I think,
If you
So,
take the 67.
well, yeah, 'cause I think that's why I was suggesting about
So
10%,
now we're
because you're
doing
looking at
3%.
3% going in there. So before it gets to the 3% for the raise, look at 6.5% based off of that.
so 67,900 and 3%.
So less,
67.9 has a 3% built in.
Yeah, so I'm
correct.
taking 3%
multiply that by
out.
0.97.
So that's 2,037.
I mean, I don't think these are punitive numbers. I think it just kind of makes a fair baseline to work off.
No, but will have to amend. We'll have to amend the budget.
And we've
Or no,
talked,
it'll be neutral.
we've talked about this
It'll be
so many
different.
times that we have to have a policy manual for starting salaries for
And we never did it.
positions, and it never happened.
Nope.
And this is why we're arguing about this. And actually, it sounds like we're all arguing the same point.
I think we're all in the same.
But
So,
something has to, we can't, and has nothing to do with the new people coming in.
Absolutely.
Zero.
no, I don't disagree. I think we're all saying the same thing, just differently. So then. Four. That would be. 284. So then the position would be 41,516 for the executive secretary. And the administrative assistant would be 65,863.
Bill, off the top of your head, what is the benefit package that is offered to them?
About $20,000.
One, right, they have the option, depending on what they choose for health insurance. And because they're one. So the more, they don't earn,
Right.
keep certification, but they also. don't track.
So, I mean, and all told, we're really looking at close to 60 and close to 80. Still
The
quite
benefits,
competitive,
yeah.
I think.
And we would value the family health insurance, we value that at 23,000.
Okay, so just to recap. So the administrative assistant would be 65,863.
Hold on, I think it's not the math I got. So if we took 67 even,
67,900.
67.9,
Minus 3%.
67
Multiplied by 93.
times 93.5, that gets you to 63,486. And then we're suggesting before we get to that, to take that down 6.5%.
No.
No, you can't do
Another
that.
3.5.
10%. No,
Well, that's what you're saying, because we're factoring in that 67.9 is with the 3% raise built into next year. So that's looking at the starting salary times however many years of the increase is based on experience. So I'm saying you start with a base of the 67.9 less than 3%, and then reduce that by the 3.5% there, because that would be consistent with about what we're looking at with the
no,
chief, no?
The safest way to calculate is to take the complete salary line, which is 55 and change, right? We have in front of me.
Right,
You reduce
Let's
by
look at that.
42.5, which is the mayor's salary, that's all the other.
He
salaries.
budgeted one.
Gotcha.
Drop it by the percentage, want to drop it by, that's. That was-
So it's
that-
154,
I see. That's better.
575. That's the budget. You take out 42.5 for the mayor.
That's
So that's
110.4 for the whole
112.
salary line. So you're talking 110.4 for the salary line. And do you want to go with the, reduce that amount with the 3% raise built into it?
110.
Or do you want to take that amount and reduce it by the 6.5%? I guess is the question here.
You just said it was 110.4.
I
Yes,
think you just do this by the 6.5%.
so you're still kind of giving them the 3% raise in the next year. So we're basing it on the outgoing less 3%, so you're really only cutting it by 3%. And again, I want to be in agreement with everybody. I just want to make sure we're agreeing on the math.
I don't want to see this go below 60,000.
Okay. No, that's,
So it'll be 65,863. And 41.
That's the top end. the mayor.
516. 42.
gotcha.
You just can't go over.
I just think it's important for us to set a precedence.
I know my math is not right here because I'm doing this on the fly.
What we're looking at is a salary line at the whole.
Correct. So that takes you down to 112.75. I look at $6,724.50.
Round that to 5, 5. We don't want to put that as the budget.
5,000.
I mean, just an even dollar.
Sure.
I don't have a pen, so let's not change the bottom line or what you're passing as far as what.
Right.
No, it's gonna be neutral, but I want us all to agree on,
What's the number you came up with?
That number sounds fine. And the mayor still has the ability to come and ask
correct.
Absolutely.
if he has the personnel to ask.
So the final number I have is 149,879.
Okay,
On
I
that
just tell me
line.
what my adjustments is, just if you said it's 6,725.
Does that include the mayor's?
That includes the
Okay.
mayor's, yes.
Okay.
The change was 6725.
Yes, that's correct. And that's what, so we're reducing that line. 6725.
Okay, I'll have that.
Okay, so you're gonna put 67.
Indicate council contingency.
Perfect. Everybody agree with that?
Aye.
I'm on board. Thank you for
Mr.
considering.
Clerk, can you call the roll on that, please?
And again, the amount going into council contingency is $6,725.
Correct.
Mhm.
Okay, so we would be reducing the mayor's salary line by the $6,725.
Correct.
Putting that into council contingency.
Correct.
Newman.
Aye.
Camerediner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Bylam,
He said aye.
Aye.
Cook.
Aye. Okay, so it's budget neutral anyway, but there you go. All right, so just everybody correct your 2022 budget line, 1210-100 to 147,850. All right. Anything else on that?
I think that was everything I had in mind.
Any other discussions on that? Mr. Newman, did you have anything to add?
Nope.
You're good, Don?
I'm good.
Steve, you're good?
I'm good.
Okay, who wants it? You want to do council?
I'm good with council. Thank you, Bill.
All right. See, we got there. All right, next is the resolution for the sale of 20 surplus items from the city, equipment and vehicles online to Auctions International, which total approximately $17,936.50. Who wants it?
I'll take it, please.
Mr. Rostrow? Questions on that? Tom, you're good? Any questions on that one, Tom?
No, I'm good. I had unmute, sorry.
All right, next is the resolution by the recommendation of the city engineer to award a Niagara River and Ellicott Creek Riverfront access for the docks improvement. Questions on that? Who wants it?
I'd take that again, Madam President.
Brown, Stroud? All right. Another change order from our city engineer. The docks improvement, change order number 2. Questions on this? Who wants it?
I'll take it again, Madam President.
Mr. Armstrong? All right, next is the amendment to the general fund operating budget. As per our agenda, this is, as a result of the Erie County initiative funds. Questions on this? Who wants it?
I'll take it, Madam President.
Mr. Mallon? All right, and then next is the resolution on the rezoning application for 2030 and 40 Fillmore Avenue. Any questions on this? Do we want to do council on this?
Can I just ask quickly, I know there was the residents that showed up for the meeting hearing, had some very passionate feelings about this, correct?
I don't know if I would call it passionate. I mean, it was an open dialogue.
Are they okay with this?
Yes.
What I want to know.
Yes.
Has all of their concerns been addressed?
Yes.
Before we go forward.
To my knowledge, Mr. Newman?
Yeah, I think they're okay with it because the fact that it's just rezoning. This has nothing to do with the build project.
Okay.
Just rezone it to build. I think you understand that.
Yeah.
The builder has committed to continue with open dialogue meetings with the residents
Perfect.
to learn of their feedback. A lot of their concerns had nothing to do with the development or,
Right,
Well, with the zoning.
yeah,
right. I just wanted to make sure everybody was good with it before
Yes.
we.
to
Okay.
my knowledge, yes, I have not heard anything. Mr. Newman, have you?
As to date, no. On our last meeting, we, hashed some stuff out. I think we're good.
Thanks, Tom.
Who would like that?
I'll take it, Madam President.
Okay, then, next resolution, as a result of the temporary expansion at Mullen and the school district's request. Do we have any questions on this?
I don't have.
Mr. Mylan, you said you wanted.
I don't have questions. I'd like to sponsor
Yeah.
it.
Sponsored by Mr. Mylan. All right. Now formally, make the motion to table resolution 11. That was seconded by Ms. Camerediner. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Resolution 11 is tabled. And resolution 12, motion to table by myself, seconded by Mr. Mylum. All those in favor?
Aye.
Resolution 12 is tabled. All right, let's go around the room. Mr. Newman.
I don't have anything, Madam.
I have nothing.
Mr. Ronstadt,
I have nothing. Thank you.
Mr. Mylum,
I don't believe I have anything this evening either.
all right.
Rather quiet.
I do not have anything either, so let's take a break before we come out on the floor.
I do. I was trying to say, budget neutral. I also have new clients at my store that are now addressing themselves.
All right, Mr. Castle, we're just gonna take a break.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. We're gonna pause the recording and we're gonna move everyone that's in the Zoom call into the waiting room until the formal session begins at 7 PM. I will bring everyone back into the council meeting. I can turn everyone in from the waiting room and we are now recording.
All right, perfect. All right, it's 7 o'clock. Let's call the meeting to order. Can you please call the roll?
Newman,
Here,
Kimmerdiner,
Here,
Rautenstrau,
Here.
Mylum,
Here.
Cook.
Here, before we begin, in an effort to be fully transparent and in compliance with our open meetings law, council member Tom Newman has elected to take this council meeting remotely at his residence of 324 Utica Street. All right, let's stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States.
which is stands, one nation,
Under God, indivisible,
everything adjusted.
with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing.
Father, thank you for the beauty of this evening. For those of us who are gathered here and those who are in prayer for us, the leadership of the city, to do your will in your way. We are grateful too for the election season that it is over. But we also pray, oh God, that those who have been elected would lead in a manner that blesses your people, blesses this wonderful community. As we go forward in this meeting tonight, we pray that your words would be spoken, that hearts would be open to your will, and that all might go well for the city and the decisions that are made. Thank you for all these things, and we do it in the name of Christ.
Thank you. You may be seated. Okay, communications from the mayor and city officials and correspondents have been ordered and filed. For your agenda, resolutions 11 and 12 have been tabled. At this time, we'll now take comments by the public on the resolutions. For those that are joining us virtually, there is a spot for you to raise your hand. Please do so at this time, and our clerk will call upon you. For those that are joining us in person, you may approach the microphone. Comments on the resolutions. Mr. Clerk, do you have anyone who's joining us virtually who wish to address the council on the resolutions?
Madam President, at this time, I do not show anyone in the Zoom call that wants to make any comments on the resolutions.
And none here, so hearing none, let's roll.
Okay, resolution number 1 by Councilmember Cammerdiner.
We have a second,
I'll second that, Madam President.
second by Mr. Rautenstrau.
Resolved that the common council minutes for November 3rd, 2021 be accepted as filed.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman,
Aye.
Cameron Danner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 2 by Councilmember Mylum.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it, Madam President.
Second by Mr. Rautenstrau. Comments or questions?
Resolved that the bills be allowed as audited.
Oops, I'm sorry. Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman,
Aye.
Cameron Danner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution 3 by the council, seconded by the council. Whereas in accordance with sections 2.025 and 3.051 of the charter for the city of Tonawanda, New York, the mayor shall appoint department heads subject to the confirmation by the common council. And whereas the current chief, Charles Stewart, is retiring effective November 25th, 2021. And whereas Mayor Rick Davis has recommended the appointment of Patrick McNulty to serve in the position as fire chief effective November 25th, 2021, at an annual salary of $98,500. And whereas there will be a transition and orientation period between outgoing Chief Stewart and incoming Chief McNulty. Now, therefore, it be resolved that the common council hereby confirms the appointment of Patrick McNulty as fire chief effective November 25th, 2021, at an annual salary of $98,500.
Comments or questions? I have a comment. I want to express my sincere thanks to Chief Stewart for his over 30 years of service to this community. We were fortunate to have him as our fire chief, and we wish him well in his retirement. And Chief McNulty, we wish you all the best in your career. Any other comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman,
Aye.
Cameron Danner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 4 by the council, seconded by the council. Resolved that this common council adopted general fund, water fund, and sewer fund operating budgets for the fiscal year commencing January 1st, 2022, making the appropriations to conduct city government, and further be it resolved that the budgets that were presented at the public hearing on October 19th, 2021 are hereby adopted as amended and revised, and that the several amounts as set forth be and are hereby appropriated for the objects and purposes specified in the 2022 operating budgets and the capital plans for 2022 through 2026 on file in the office of the city clerk, as per your agenda.
Comments or questions?
Comment.
Mr. Newman?
I've expressed this before, but I do have concerns. I still have concerns about, the $300,000 plus in sales tax revenues in these lines and the $200,000 of delinquent taxes that are on the line. That's up to $600,000. I'm just hoping that this isn't a bunch of smoke and mirrors. That's all, Madam President. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Newman. Any other comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman.
Aye.
Cameron Danner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 5 by Councilmember Rautenstrau.
Do we have a second?
I'll second it, Madam President.
Second by Ms. Cameron Danner.
Resolved that the common council authorizes and approves the sale of 20 surplus items in the city's equipment / vehicles conducted online by Auctions International Surplus Auction number 26543, totaling approximately $17,936.50 per the report attached hereto and made a part thereof.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman.
Aye.
Camerediner.
Aye.
Rautenstrau.
Aye.
Mylum.
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 6 by Councilmember Rautenstrau.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that, Madam President.
Second by Ms. Cameron.
Resolved that the recommendation of the city engineer, Jason J. Lamonaco, P.E., that award of the Niagara River and Ellicott Creek Riverfront Access and Docks Improvement Change Order Number 1 be made to Mark Cerrone, Inc. at a cost not to exceed $30,058 as per your agenda.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman.
Aye.
Camerediner.
Aye.
Rautenstrau.
Aye.
Mylum.
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 7 by Councilmember Rautenstrau.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that one as well, Madam President.
Second by Ms. Cameron.
Resolved that the recommendation of the city engineer, Jason J. Lamonaco, P.E., that award of the Niagara River and Ellicott Creek Riverfront Access and Dock Improvement Change Order Number 2 be made to Mark Cerrone at a cost not to exceed $17,760 as per your agenda.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman.
Aye.
Camerediner.
Aye.
Rautenstrau.
Aye.
Mylum.
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution 8 by Councilmember Mylum.
I will second.
Resolved that the 2021 general fund operating budget be amended by the common council during the November 16th, 2021 council meeting to set up the revenue and expenses related to the 2021 Erie County Urban Initiative funding as per your agenda.
Comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman.
Aye.
Camerediner.
Aye.
Rautenstrau.
Aye.
Mylum.
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 9 by Councilmember Newman.
I will second.
Whereas J.C. Tonawanda Towers, QOZB LLC, owner of 20, 30, and 40 Fillmore Avenue, requested the rezoning of said properties from M1 Manufacturing to CM General Commercial Services District on August 26, 2021. And whereas a public hearing on the request was held on October 5th, 2021, after required notice was sent to property owners within 250 feet of said property. Now therefore be resolved that the request for the rezoning is approved.
Comments or questions?
Comment?
Mr. Newman?
We touched on this in the pre-meeting a little bit, but we've had many meetings with the residents over their concerns about this project. And this is just rezoning, and I think they finally understand that. It doesn't take away the concerns about the project. I am confident that the Kruba company will be a good neighbor and take in consideration the concerns of the residents in that area. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Newman. Any other comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman.
Aye.
Camerediner.
Aye.
Rautenstrau.
Aye.
Mylum.
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted.
Resolution number 10 by Councilmember Mylum.
I will second this as well.
Whereas as a result of temporary expansion of Mullen Elementary School, it is necessary to provide additional on-street parking to accommodate the increased school staff. Now therefore be resolved that Chapter 62, Traffic and Vehicles, Article 5, Traffic Schedules, Division 2, Stopping, Standing, and Parking, Section 62-197, Schedule 19, time limit standing, be amended to omit the parking restriction on the north side of Syracuse Street from a point 254 feet west of Malden Avenue to a point 696 feet thereof. And be it further resolved that all other provisions of the said schedule remain in full force and effect.
Comments or questions?
Comment?
Mr. Newman?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm a little disappointed in her school district on this one. When they decided to propose this build and then to put 4 classrooms, 4 more teachers plus assistants, they didn't even take parking into consideration on this. Is a little disappointing. I don't know if this is really gonna fix everything. It's a drop off and pickup for kids at these, on both sides, Syracuse and Mullen. It's an absolute disaster. Oh, I guess this is all we can do for now. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Newman. Any other comments or questions? Please call the roll.
Newman,
Aye.
Cameron Danner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
I declare the resolution adopted. So in our pre-meeting, we had made a motion to table the resolution, resolution 11. I just want to go through it one more time as a formality. Sponsored by Ms. Cook, seconded by Ms. Cameron. Tabling resolution 11. Can you please call the roll?
Again, this is a motion to table resolution 11. Newman.
Aye.
Cameron Danner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
Aye. Resolution has been tabled. Resolution 12, we also had the motion to table, which is sponsored by myself, seconded by Mr. Mylum, just as a formality. If you could please call the roll.
Again, to table this resolution number 12. Newman,
Aye.
Cameron Danner,
Aye.
Rautenstrau,
Aye.
Mylum,
Aye.
Cook.
Aye. Resolution 12 has been tabled. At this time, we'll now take comments by the public following the resolutions. For those that are joining us virtually, there is a spot for you to raise your hand. Please do so, and our clerk will call upon you. For those that are joining us in person, if you wish to make comments following the resolutions, please step forward. Mr. Clerk, we do have comment on the floor.
We need a name and.
Name and address.
Rick Oates Jr., 64 Fox Street, Top One. Just a public comment on resolution number 3. Regarding the retirement of Chief Stewart, pretty emotional person. But just on behalf of my family, I imagine on behalf of the department, I was not called to do this, but we're just so grateful for his tenure and his compassionate and courageous leadership. We were so touched. We've been in town, I think, 15 years, and just in so many ways. Always looking out for the little guy, no partiality in any way, and did things behind the scenes that were just wonderful. And the biggest accolade will be up in heaven, but I wanted to give it an accolade here. We're just so grateful for his leadership, and a lot of lives were touched. Thank you, Chief. And we'll be in good hands with Chief Pat coming in, following some pretty tough shoes. He has some of the same attributes. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oates. Any other comments or questions? Mr. Clerk, do you have anyone wishing to make a comment following the resolutions?
Madam President, at this time, I do not show anyone in the Zoom call that wants to make any comments this evening?
All right. Last call. All right, hearing none. Mr. Newman.
Madam President. First, I would like to thank Chief Stewart for all of his hard work and dedication to our city. He is the only public servant that has served in all three branches of emergency service. He started his career as a volunteer firefighter, then was hired as a dispatcher, then hired as a police officer, then transferred to the fire department, and ended his career as fire chief. His service to our community is outstanding, to say the least. I'd also like to congratulate our incoming Patrick McNulty. As council liaison, I'm looking forward to working with him. Due to being totally transparent to the residents, I just want to state something for the record, even though there is an email regarding this. Not 2 weeks after the election, third ward councilman sent out an email, the council members, treasurer, and city assessor, and he talked about in the pre-meeting. This email dated November 11th was stated he wanted a resolution on the table for tonight's meeting for a citywide reassessment. I was the only person who responded to that email, and I stated no, as I have in the past. Our city residents have faced 22% tax increase over the last 2 years, $600,000 owed in back taxes, and over 140 homes being foreclosed on. And the third ward councilman wants to reassess, which current history has shown that will raise taxes. Sanity. Our city residents cannot handle another tax hike. I do not know what the game is being played, but it is a dangerous one to the taxpayers. They're going to be the ones at the losing end. I believe that this has to do with the 4.7% tax decrease in our current budget. Something very similar happened a few years ago. The budget stayed at 0% and the reassessment caused a tax hike. Now, that being said, if a reassessment was done correctly, the commercial property should go back to where they should be. And we would see a decrease in the tax rate to compensate the increase of the assessed value. However, current history has proven that it does not happen this way. As the last assessment turned out to be a 13% tax increase for the residential and a decrease in some commercial properties. I believe our residents deserve better than this. As a council member, we should be looking out for the best interests of our residents. Same time reassessing is not the only way. That's all I have, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Newman. Ms. Cameron.
I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Take this time, hug your family a little closer. COVID is back with a vengeance, unfortunately. Just be positive, be safe with your family on Thanksgiving as well. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Ms. Cameron. Mr. Ravenscroft.
Thank you. One, I do want to echo the sentiment. Thank you to Chief Stewart for your years of service. Greatly appreciated. Congratulations to our new Chief McNulty. I think you're going to be a great addition to our fire department. That was all I had, but just to kind of speak to what Councilman Newman said. That kind of rhetoric and misinformation being spread about what a tax reevaluation isn't healthy and isn't good to the city, isn't good to our residents. We need to educate on what it actually is and the importance of what a reeval does for our residents. We did land it on a tax increase on a year, and that did leave a bad taste in everybody's mouth. But I think the fiscally responsible thing to do is to continue with the tax reassessments. As it stands now, people are paying more in taxes than they need to from people that aren't reassessed properly. The equalization rate is off. People aren't getting their full discounts for their tax exemptions, for STAR, for our veterans, for our elderly. I think it's important that they realize the full amount of their exemptions, and that would help them. Getting the commercial properties properly valued in our city will offset the taxes for the rest of our residents. That'll take some of the burden off of our shoulders. I think there's a lot of important pieces to that, in addition to increasing our city's bond rate, being able to borrow money at less money, also paying less interest, saving money for our residents. I think spreading misinformation about what the reeval does is it's just wrong. It's doing our city a disservice. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ravenscroft. Mr. Mylum.
Yeah, I know it being the fourth one to go, it's always I sound like I'm repeating myself all the time. But, you know, thank you to Chief Stewart, and I think I'd also like to extend an equal thank you to his family. It's not easy to be in the public service world like that, have to leave your family at all times, especially with a job that is as dangerous as a firefighter. So, you know, thank you to Chief Stewart, but also thank you to his family for, I'm sure, being that support that he needed when he got home after just after a long career. So I wish him a very long, healthy, happy retirement. I was speaking with my grandmother on the way over here, and she always asked, what's the big thing tonight? And I told her about Chief Stewart retiring. She had nothing but great things to say, and wanted to express her congratulations as well. To Chief McNulty, I've never met him personally, but everybody I've spoken to is pretty much in the same vein, said the exact same thing. What a great person of character he is, and I think it sounds like we're very lucky to have him. Wish everybody a good, happy Thanksgiving. And I think that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Mylum. This evening, we tabled 2 resolutions. We will be revisiting those resolutions at our next meeting on December 7th. So just so everyone is aware about that. I want to thank everyone for their hard work with this budget. This is a responsible budget. There's a lot of work that goes into this resolution that we adopted this evening. The council met consecutively on Tuesdays with the department heads, where we reviewed budget lines. We had dialogue amongst the council. So great work by all parties, and thank you for always, you know, giving more during October and November so we can work this out. Mark your calendars for It's a Wonderful Night. That is December 3rd. There are a lot of fun events that are planned, so please stop by and check them out. I want to thank Tops Friendly Markets for donating 125 turkeys to organizations in our community. This is a partnership that we've had with Tops for almost 6 years, to be exact. Those turkeys are going to benefit the VVA Food Pantry, the St. Francis Food Pantry, and Warmth for Hungry Hearts. So I'd like to thank Tops again for that extremely generous donation. Warmth for Hungry Hearts will be having a Thanksgiving dinner, so please stop by and check that out. And I know they are looking for volunteers to help prep as well as serve on Thanksgiving. I certainly want to wish you all a happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe and enjoy it, and I hope you take time with your loved ones. Last but certainly not least, I want to express again my sincere thanks to Chief Stewart for his dedication and service. I hope he has a long, fruitful retirement, and I hope he gets to travel and do all the things that he enjoys. So we look forward to working with Chief McNulty, and congratulations to him and his family. Again, there will be a formal swearing-in ceremony on November 22nd, which is Monday at 5 p.m. Right here, and then downstairs there will be a reception with Chief McNulty. With that said, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second it, Madam President.
Second by Mr. Cameron. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Have a great night.
Thank you, Madam President. At this time, we'll be ending the Zoom call. Thank you, everyone that came on the Zoom call, and we'll see you at the next meeting.
Yep.